Hey guys, welcome to the channel. It's Delaney with DeathandCandy 27. Today we're going to be doing a back to school budget drugstore only makeup look. As you can see, we are going to be using some e.l.f. products, but a lot of other products that I love and enjoy from all kinds of drugstore areas. So normally I'm purchasing at Walgreens and CVS, but I did want to give you guys the opportunity to see something that is not an indie brand that's online only shopping. So I went ahead and picked up some local products, and we're going to go ahead and jump into creating this neutral and natural look for you today. Stay tuned for the application. Okay guys, so we're going to go ahead and start jumping into the application. So as you may have guessed from the intro, today we're going to be doing a back to school budget makeup look. I have been doing drugstore bingos on my other channel with Chip for the last like 6 months now, and I have quite a few different brands of drugstore only. I figured, hey, why not use those for something else than just my day-to-day makeup and just give you guys a look based on just drugstore makeup. So here we are. So I recently tried MILANI for the first time. I got a foundation, so we're going to be using that today. I really liked the way it applied for my first time use, and this is the Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation and concealer. This is my first time trying like a 2-in-1 foundation, so it was really interesting. And this is in the shade of Porcelain. It comes in this nice little pump here, and I'm just going to sploosh that out onto my little mixing lid. So it's kind of thick. And I'm just going to do like 3 pumps. That should be fine. And from my initial application of this foundation, it seems to be more of a satin natural finish. So if you're looking for something more matte, you would have to seek out something else. I'm going to be using my e.l.f. blending sponge. This is $5 and the MILANI is $11, and you get 1 fluid ounce. I'm just kind of rounding up on prices, but this is a medium to full coverage. I did pick up their concealer as well, but I will not be using it because when I initially tested it out, it was the same shade as the foundation, so there was really like no purpose. So as you can see, it is a pretty full coverage foundation. I did blend this out quite a lot. This sponge is really great because it doesn't soak up a bunch of the product. It's not a very dense sponge, but I do like it. I use it quite often in my daily. I'll normally pick it up for more liquidy foundations, so like my Maybelline Superstay or my Morphe. It works good for that as well, but otherwise it just kind of depends on what's the cleanest sponge around. It's going in with my third little dab, so I've used about half of the product that I pumped out, so really I could have probably gotten away with just 2 pumps, but I wanted to have the little bit extra out just in case I need to touch up anything. But the coverage on this is really great. I don't know if they necessarily need to market it as conceal and foundation. I guess it's beneficial obviously to do that if you're wanting to cater to people that are like,
I don't want to buy a concealer and a foundation separately.
But then they also sell the concealer separately, which is, I think you could just market this as like a full coverage foundation with a natural finish, and that would probably do more for you. It's not like a shiny satin or anything. Like, this would be a really good foundation if you wanted to use like a brightening or illuminator primer underneath. It would shine through really well and give you a little bit more of a dewy finish look. My skin's been doing really well lately, but today I have like a breakout starting to grow on my nose, and I'm just like, stop. So now that the foundation is applied, I'm just looking over any areas that I need to touch up. I can definitely tell that underneath my eyes, because we had a late night last night, that it's a little bit darker than I would prefer. If you guys were curious, this is an oil-free formula, so if you have a natural oil, then it will help with that. Next product is going to be something from Wet n Wild. This is the dual-ended contour stick, and this is in the light and medium. It has a contour on one end and a lightener on the other, so I'm going to take a little bit of this highlight to go under my eyes a little bit, just where it's a little bit darker, just to kind of even out the tone. And then I will be using the contour shade, so I'm going to go in with light first. I'm going to just take like the tiniest bit of that underneath the eyes. I'm just going to take my Beauty Blender Blotterazzi. I like using this under the eye just because it's a little bit easier to like form underneath, depending on your eye shape. But you could use a brush as well. Yeah, see, that's already instantly better. Now, I haven't picked up any type of brush sets from my drugstore escapades. However, I know that e.l.f. has really good brush sets. They have a variety of face and detailers, so check them out. Also, Wet n Wild, I've heard, has good brushes. Okay, I know that looks like literal like sienna brown on my face, but trust me, it really blends out. Unfortunately, they don't really have any cool tone options when it comes to those sticks, which I kind of wish, just because I'm really used to using my Fenty. But that dual ended contour and cream highlight is $6, which I think is super affordable. So now that you can see that that's all blended in, so it doesn't show up a whole lot on camera, but you can definitely see the tones like in my skin. I just wanted you guys to see like that does blend out. It's not like that weird orange the whole time. Okay, next in the routine is going to be powder to set all of my T-zone areas, and if you want to set for your whole face, you definitely can. I'm using a loose setting powder from Maybelline today. This is the MASTERFIX. This says translucent, however, this is like the widest translucent powder I've ever seen. Like, it looks like an HD powder. But this is $9. We'll be applying this underneath eyes, the T-zone, and underneath where my contour was. And we're just going to be using a little powder puff from Laura Mercier, but any powder puff or sponge will do. I would say this would be a good powder to use if you were trying to calm down a dewy finish and just kind of set your whole face. I'm going to go ahead and jump into my bronzer, Wet n Wild, and it's in the shade Summer Sunset. It's a really big pan, which I love, and I love how thin the packaging is. Like, look how thin that is. It's great. It has a little bit of like shimmer to it, but just like the tiniest amount, because again, it is a bronzer, and I'll be applying that with my Morphe M436. It's very pigmented, so be careful if you're not really trying to bronze and you're just trying to like darken the skin a little bit. But just look how much that like darkens up my skin in comparison to my other side that doesn't have anything. Seriously, if you don't want a lot, don't add a lot. The bronzer was $5, so I think that that's a pretty fair price for how much it is as far as product is concerned. So for blush, we're going to be dipping back into MILANI. This is the powder blush, and it is like the prettiest press, but like, God, I hate trying to open these things. I'm just afraid I'm just gonna like right into the press. It's like this nice little rose press, which I think is really pretty. It's 3-dimensional. This is in the shade of BLOSSOMTIME Rose. This blush is $10, which I'm like, oh, how? It is a lot of product, and I highly doubt that I'm going to like run out of it very quickly. I do want to say that it has a shimmer overspray. The blush underneath is actually not that light of a pink, so it does get a little bit darker. As you can see, like on the ridges of the rose, it's very light versus the more petal shapes, they're darker. That's what the actual color is that darker color, which was almost kind of disappointing because I wanted a blush that was that light, but I'm also not mad at the color that's underneath. And we're just gonna really blend that into that bronzer area on the cheek, focusing on the apple and kind of taking it back up into the hairline area. Most of the time I'm getting blushes in a group pan size, so for me to think about a $10 blush, I'm like, ugh. But then I'm like, wait. And you're used to buying ones that are like 20 to 30 because you're buying in palettes. Like, I like the packaging, but like the actual compact trying to open is just like a bitch. We're gonna go ahead and jump into brows, and we'll be using a brow pencil from e.l.f. This is in the shade Taupe, so it has like a nice little crayoned tip. There's quite a lot of product in there, and it's pretty pigmented. Like, I've used it obviously already, but I've only used about maybe that much. And then it has a little spoolie on the end, which we will definitely be using. I like to use it to kind of brush out where it's kind of clumping up, because I'm not a huge fan of pencils, but I have a pomade from ColourPop, but I wanted to make this like a locally available. Unless you're going to Ulta, I don't think that they carry their brow products for ColourPop, so that's kind of annoying. But this pencil is $2, which is not off par for e.l.f. But considering how long it's going to last me, one, because I don't use pencil a lot, but two, like, the product is just good. Like, that's a steal. Like, look, I haven't even combed it out and it already looks like a really good brow. I wish the pencil had a little bit of a finer tip, but what I'm going to do is take an angle brush and just clean up any areas and define others. But first I'm going to take the spoolie. The spoolie is pretty thick as well. It's not as thin as I would prefer for a brow, but I mean, you know, it's a spoolie. It's attached. I don't have to carry a spoolie separately. Like, it's convenient. Just going to take a little Sephora Angle 22. This is what I normally am using to define my brows with a pomade. And we're just going to take a little bit of the product on there and just kind of create any definitions that we need. You definitely don't have to do this part. This is just something that I like to do, especially for the tail end of the brow. Like, I like it to be very sharp. So see, that one's already pretty defined. So as you can see, the brows came out really nicely. I went and took a little bit of my foundation just to clean up any outside lines that I didn't like. Then we'll be moving on to another e.l.f. product. This will be the Jelly Highlight, and this is in the shade Bubbly. It's a really pretty, like, sheeny champagne color. There's a lot of product in here. You could use this as a luminizer primer as well because it is so, like, sheer and thin. We're just gonna apply this as the liquid highlight on the cheeks and underneath the brows. So just look how, like, nice that is. Like, I want them to come out with more shades because I think they only have, like, 3 options. But if you're not into a powder highlighter, if you want to get into trying highlights, this is a really good one that I would recommend. This one is $6, which, I mean, is more than a brow pencil, but, like, this is going to last you literally for, like, a year, even if you wore it every single day, because you do not need a lot of it. Just gonna take my Morphe M170-2 and apply that underneath the brows. I've never been more impressed by her product for, like, you know, what it is anyway. We don't need any skin frost in here. We don't need any fancy liquid highlighters. We can just do this. This is fine. Gonna go back into MILANI, and this, I believe, is gonna be the last MILANI product, but I just didn't find a highlighter over all of the drugstores that I tried that I was, like, really into, and this is the one I've tried the most recently, and I was like, okay, cool, got you. This is the STROBELIGHT highlighter that they have. I think they have a range of, like, 3 to 4, and this is in the shade Afterglow. This is $10. MILANI, I have found, is a higher end of the drugstore realm, but still super affordable in comparison to, like, mid-range and luxury brands. Obviously, it's a good highlight. It's just... I would say that you could probably wear it up into a deep medium tan, but after that you may experience, like, some unsightly white highlight on your face. When I think about the price and how long it'll take me to get through this highlight, because I don't hit pan on anything really, it's fine for the price. But also, I could have spent that on a highlight that I'm using consistently more often. This is a very natural shade for me, and I don't really normally pick up natural shades at all. This look today is going to be pretty natural. For the first highlight to apply to the face, I use the Morphe E61, and then for under the brow I use the Morphe M562. Again, you don't have to use Morphe brushes to do this face. They are affordable as far as brushes go, however, they're not really drugstore readily available. Again, you could go to Ulta and purchase brush sets from them, however, you may not be able to get a big diverse range, unlike mine, because I get monthly subscriptions for it, which there is a referral link down below if you'd like to sign up for that. It is $20 a month and you get 30 plus retail value of brushes. Okay, so that's it for the face. We're gonna move on to eyes. I'm not gonna be using, like, an eyeshadow palette. There are some nice ones out there, however, I like using liquid shadows too, and I have found some really nice ones from Wet n Wild. This is in the Liquid Catsuit line. This is the cream liquid eyeshadow, so those have a black top, the metallics have a white. This is in Off the Grind. It's just a nice taupey shade, but it's a nice taupey shade as you can see it in the tube. It's actually a really pretty lip color that I would probably wear, but it's gonna go all over the eyes. And this is what I would like to use, like, if I'm running late or something and I really need to, like, go, because it just helps neutralize the lid color and give a little bit of shading to it. And I like that, like, neutral gray toned look. So I'm just gonna blend this out. I'm just using, like, a little paddle brush from Wish. Not doing any, like, particular eye shape, just trying to soften the edges as it gets away from the actual eyelid. And these do dry down to, like, a matte consistency. When we were doing our drugstore on my other channel for Wet n Wild, we found that a lot of their products are very wet when applied, but they dry down very quickly. Like, even the contour stick is like that, even though it's a cream product. Same for this eyeshadow. If you don't work quickly enough, it will dry down on you, which I found out when I was trying to blend metallic shadows that I had bought in from them. You can also put powdered eyeshadows on top of this, but I'm just not going to be doing that today. I'm just going to be sticking with the cream shadow. This will literally take me so long to use one just because I'm not using it every day, but also it's quite a lot of product in it. And the Wet n Wild eyeshadow is $5, which I think is a steal. That's like around the same price as a liquid lipstick as well. And then what I like to do when I'm using this eyeshadow is I will make a wing liner, and I will be using the Maybelline Master Precise All Day Liquid Liner. This is in the shade black. It's a smaller tube because this is a sample size that I got. However, they do sell the full size product. This is $8, which I think is super affordable for a felt tip liner. I really like how pointed it is. I've checked the full size as well and is the same shape. I like it just as much as I like my Kat Von D because they have the same kind of precise tip. This one's a little bit longer than hers. It's just really easy to maneuver and apply onto the eye. Yeah, I've had this sample for about 4 months now. I don't use it quite often, however, it hasn't dried out as of yet. But the best way to store felt liners is face down, so it concentrates the product down at the tip. Then we're just gonna go into the other eye, try to make them sisters.
2 hours later.
Once all your eyeliner's done, we'll be moving on to mascara. Second to last e.l.f. product. This is the Length and Volume Mascara. This is $3. It's a really good mascara. I wouldn't say that it necessarily makes your eyes super lengthened. However, it does give you like a nice thickness as well. And then the spoolie is just a little like short boy. When I initially tried this mascara, like I really liked it so much that like I was using it every day. It was really good for prepping like lashes, which we will be putting on lashes today, but I want to show you how good it can look by itself. Yeah, so you can see that pretty well defines my lashes. These are the Kiss lashes in the style Midnights. They're pretty dainty, and these are $6 once you round up with tax, but they're a nice like fanned lash, so they start shorter on the inside and then go out to that nice fan on the outside here. They say that they're multi-use. I would not suggest using them for more than maybe 20 times. I think I've used them about 10 times at this point, and the glue, once you kind of clean them that first time, it kind of stays really sticky and residual, which is fine because I mean ultimately you're putting lash glue on it regardless. They will tend to break down as that glue that binds the lashes onto the band comes apart. We'll just be using some regular Quickset Duo Glow to apply those. I'll be doing that off camera. I do want to show you the lip I'll be using. This is the e.l.f. matte liquid lipstick, and this is in the shade Smoky Taupe. It has a little doe foot applicator with a hole in it. $5. So okay guys, so here's the finished look. If you are into neutral and natural looks, this is definitely a video for you. But if not, I hope that if you like some of the products, you can go pick those up because they are extremely affordable. If you're not really into makeup at all, you know, at least you're here watching my tutorial today, and I hope that it inspired you to go pick up some of these products just to try out and have fun. Like that's what makeup's about, is having fun. Again, you don't have to use every product that I use to make this face. You could do whatever you want, change anything out. It's totally up to you and what you want to do. I did calculate everything based on how much I would have spent purchasing all the products up front, and then if I wore them for 90 days straight, how much this overall look would cost me. So the total, not including the blending sponge, which was $5 from e.l.f., is $86. So you can get on a budget considering, you know, how much makeup just runs people in general these days. Again, you don't have to purchase all the products at once, and Walgreens and CVS, for example, do have a lot of sales where you can buy one, get one 50% off. A lot of the times when I'm going and buying in store, that happens for me. Or if you want to purchase these products online, a lot of the times brands will at least give you free shipping, or they'll be running a sale on how much you spend, you can get so much percentage off, etc. If you calculated all of the prices of the products over a 90-day period, because none of these products will expire before then, and if I'm using it consistently every day, I may run out of it after a 90-day period, the whole entire look costs you $1.01. So that's pretty cheap. I may try to do this again with more mid-range products just to kind of see, because sometimes when you get so wrapped up in consumerism, you just kind of forget, you know, you see the product and you want to go buy it. And that's, you know, just in the gist of how consumerism works. And we just kind of forget that sometimes. And I'm definitely someone that does that. Like if you try to sell me anything in a bundle, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go buy that right now because it's a bundle and I'm gonna get a deal, obviously. But do I really need 8 out of those 10 shades? No. I did add the e.l.f. beanie here for $10. Of course, you don't have to go purchase this. I just happened to see it when I was purchasing online one time from them, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go buy that. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into some close-ups for you so you can see this overall look, and we'll be keeping the beanie on for all of that. hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please comment down below if you want me to try a certain brand or show you any type of products that I may have from that particular brand in a look, or on my Instagram. You can always DM me there with any questions or concerns or suggestions for videos. Bye!